Hello and welcome to Aces Golf, and today's review has been released 12 AM UK time on a Friday, which can only mean one thing: it is a brand new club. Well, it's still the current model that was released in 2024, and the brand has released a few extra sort of options in 2025, but this is still the original option that is still available and will be available until, I imagine, 2026, and it is this. It is the Ping PLD Anser putter. So as I mentioned, in 2025, they have released some new lineup models to this PLD sort of range. I think it's the Ping Anser 30 now, and there's a few others there. But the original Anser, which is the classic, which, let's be honest, a lot of putters are based on when it comes down to blades, is still going and will be going into 2025. Now, I'm really excited about this. And the reason I picked this up for the channel is because, number one, I've never actually tried Ping putter. I know, don't ask me why. I've got loads of putters behind me. I've done quite a few reviews of putters already this year. I've got loads more to do. I don't know why I've never tried a Ping putter. I just never picked them up. Even though the Anser is sort of like the godfather of all putters, they're all based on this style. Even Scotty sort of copies a traditional Anser style as well. So I wanted to try it out for the channel, and also I wanted to see if this PLD range is a premium putter model, so premium putter brand, because unlike sort of Scotty Cameron's, which you'd say is a premium putters, your even rolls, your Bettinardi's, probably butchering the name there, where they're all expensive, all premium, everything about them's premium, sort of like artwork, especially when it comes down to Scotty Cameron's. Ping do produce cheaper putters like your TaylorMades, like your Cobras, and I like your Callaways as well, and does that really sort of put you off going for their premium range? Can you tell it's a more expensive putter, or is it just basically them, adding a little few things to it and then charging you a lot more? I mean, TaylorMade, for example, tried to bring out a premium putter range, last year, thought they were great, really enjoyed it, but, do check out the channel for that review. But, they just didn't sell well because people think of the Spider and everything like that, which is sort of more of a mid-price range. Callaway, got their Odyssey milled, etc. AI, when they had their Toulon range, when they had that sort of shared partnership, that worked really well, but they've moved away from that. And again, do their milled range work that well, or do people just stick within normal AI ones, And so I really wanted to know, with this PLD range, is it premium? Should you be thinking, if you're thinking about getting a Scotty Cameron, should you perhaps go, all right, actually, I'm going to buy one of these instead because it works just as well as a Scotty, it looks just as good as a Scotty, and it performs just as well as a Scotty for the same price. So that's the main reason I wanted to pick this up, to come to the conclusion if Ping do produce premium putters. So we'll find out in this video. So as always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at, let's be honest, this absolute beauty, stunning club. Come back here, quickly go through sort of a brief insight into technology that's in it. Obviously being, a milled putter and also a blade. There's not going to be that much in it, but anyway, we'll get down to, I want to say, the putting range. Get down to the putting green. Well, I tested this out, so when I'm testing out, basically I'll discuss my fit, what I think, the thoughts of it, the feel of it, if I can get my words out, which I struggle from time to time. But yeah, so we're getting down to the putting green, and I'll discuss my findings, etc. I hit a few putts and hopefully hole them. At the moment, my putting will probably miss. That's just the way it's going at the moment. So maybe I should be putting this putter in the bag. Maybe I need a new putter. Maybe that will solve all my problems. I doubt it. But anyway, moving on. And then we'll come back here and go through the Aces Golf Scale and my overall thoughts about this PLD range, and if it is as premium as the price tag suggests. All right, let's have a closer look at this club. So there you go. And if we're just going by looks, yes, this is premium. I mean, it's like artwork. The edges are so smooth. The milling on the face of PLD, the paint filling, the back, the line, everything about this, the shaft, the grip, the head cover. I don't know, maybe it could be a little bit more fluffy inside. It is magnetic. It is a cool looking head cover, to be fair, maybe a little bit softer, but let's be honest, the new Scotty Cameron head covers aren't brilliant either. So not bad head cover either, but everything about it, like black shaft, you know, it does feel premium. So there you go. Now let's get into the technology that is in this club. So just going off Ping's website, you know, quality and precision. So a solid block of forged 303 stainless steel requires more than 4 hours of milling time, precisely shaping every surface and radius to achieve the high quality and premium look expected in a precision milled putter. I think they've definitely got it for the looks. Control and consistency. So to deliver a tour preferred field precision and control, selected PLD milled putters are offered in a shallower milled face with a firmer response. Other models have a deep AMP aggressive milling pattern face technology for a softer impact. Both are engineered to ensure your score lowering consistency on greens. So you can have different options. You can get this adjusted to see how much milling you want on the face, which I think is really good. And then grips galore. You know, your design wouldn't be complete without a painted fill-in, you know, filled grip to further differentiate your putter from the rest. Blue, gold, green, orange, pink, red, yellow, purple, white and blackout are there for the choosing. So you can as well, if you want to customize these putters to get them to look how you want them to look, which is pretty cool. Obviously it's going to add on to the price tag. So going into the Anser itself, just a little bit of technology here. So the Anser is the winningest putter in golf history, continues to set the standard with its rounded corners and soft ballasts, making setup and aiming easier in the slight arc design, and heel toe perimeter weighting ensures forgiveness. So you have the weighting here to add forgiveness, as much forgiveness you can get in a blade. Obviously this isn't going to be a mallet where you've got a lot of high MOI with that weight at the back, but you know, there is some forgiveness there in a modern blade. Hosel wise, you get an H1, offset full shaft face, deep AMP, so deep for the softest feeling on this one as standard. Head weight is 350 grams, stroke type is slight arcs. The idea is, you know, that sort of slight arc like that. Personally for me, I'm actually a very straight putter, which generally means more mallets, which I tend to go for. Standard length 35, but obviously that can be adjusted. Lie angle is 20 degrees plus 4. You know, you can go up or down depending on what you want, and loft is 3. You can also change the loft by +1 and -2 as well. So yeah, so lots of like sort of info there when it comes down to it. You know, it is a good looking putter. It really is. So there's a brief look at the technology that's in there. Obviously, you know, that milling for that 303, you know, steel, you've got some extra weight around the perimeter in that sort of Anser shape to help with a little bit of forgiveness and MOI and off-centered hits. And, you know, you do have the deep milling on this model specifically, you know, to really make it nice and soft off the face. All right, now, as we discussed that, let's get down to that putting green, and I'll just discuss the findings while hitting some lovely putts that will hopefully go in the hole. All right, see you back here in a bit. So here I am down at the putting green to Silverman, my local golf course. Now, they have just been sanded, which is a little bit annoying, so they've been a little bit bumpy. We've actually had a really, really dry spring over here in the UK, so everything's rock solid like it would be normally in the middle of summer. So hopefully we get a little bit of rain, to be fair, because we need a little bit of growth before we get to the summer, and everything stops relatively growing down here in the south of England. But anyway, on to the putter itself. Now, behind the ball, this thing looks gorgeous. You know, with a blade, you're not going to get any better looking than this. You know, the Ping Anser, you know, it's a classic blade shape. Lots of other companies, such as Scotty, you know, copy this shape. It is absolutely gorgeous. And behind the ball with the black shaft, the black grip, this thing just screams good looking and also screams premium. Now, on to the face and the roll. So, off the face, this club feels lovely. That milled face, even though it's a blade, and I always tend to find milled sort of putters when they're blades tend to be a little bit firmer than your mallet shapes, just because there's more mass right at the front. Obviously a mallet's a little bit more spread out, so it makes it feel a little bit softer. In this case, yes, I would say this Ping is a little bit more firmer than your sort of really, really soft mallet, but it still feels lovely off the face. Definitely one of the best feeling, I'd say, blades that I've ever tried for this channel. It felt absolutely gorgeous. Roll as well, even though yes, these greens are a little bit bumpy, you can see the ball comes out lovely, and the roll is absolutely gorgeous, as you'd expect, and very consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you put a bad putt on it, then yes, you know, it's not going to have the forgiveness of a mallet, so it might come out a little bit left to the right, and it's just not going to go the distance. But when it comes out the middle, it rolls true, and it is absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's really good to hit, you know, from a blade, and you want that consistency, you want that control. You find it with this club. It is absolutely fantastic. There you go. Finally got one in after getting the line, you know, other 2 shots. But yeah. Now on to the sound as well. The sound feels lovely. It's a nice sort of, you know, not ping noise, which ping used to be known for, you know, back in the day when he hit a ping cup, it used to go ping. But it is a very muted and very beautiful sound. You know, it's just a bit dull, but it just feels really nice off the face. And see there, all right, I didn't get any of them to the hole, but the consistency of those shots were really, really good, you know. And then within a couple of feet was really where blade really comes into its own for this, and you know, they were getting in the hole. As it comes down to forgiveness, as I've mentioned, you know, off-centered hits, it will still get to, well, it won't get to the hole, but it will go this, well, in the straight line basically. So you won't have maybe any deviations, but you will be short. But in generally, you know, if you hit out the middle, which you're going to be doing with a blade, you need to concentrate a little bit more with it. You know, it is true, and it works really well. And that was so close to going in. Not going to lie, my putting at the moment's been pretty useless. Definitely think of putting a new putter in a bag, but I haven't quite found it. But would I play this blade? Honestly, I would. It is beautiful. It is stunning. It's so well balanced as well. By the way, you know, I've mentioned it's beautiful all the time, but it is so well balanced, which is exactly you want from this type of putter. So there you go, and I enjoyed hitting this. I really did. I love this club. It is so nice. Really, really is premium, even though we will come to that conclusion at the end. And I love blades. I really do wish I could play a blade, to be honest, and obviously I could. There's nothing stopping me, and every now and again I do have a good round with one, but you know, with the way I tend to putt, a mallet definitely works a little bit better for me, especially with alignment. I'd say, you know, I tend to, because, you know, you have that sort of toe weight there that helps to sort of bring the club around a slight arc. I tend to miss them just left quite a bit when it comes down to it with a blade, or I miss it all over the place. Let's be honest, the putting's not working, then yes, the score's not going to go well. But you know, really beautiful, and really did enjoy hitting this and just looking at it, to be honest. You know, it is like a piece of artwork. It is gorgeous. So let's get into the ACES golf scale. So remember, we've got distance control. So normal clubs is distance. For putters, we do distance control. We've got feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So distance control, 5 out of 5. You basically, if you're stroking it right, it's going to go exactly the distance you want it to go. Obviously, you need to get used to it because it is a blade, but it is so soft off the face. It's so consistent. The roll is so good. Everything screams premium, and everything screams perfect in my mind. So distance control, 5 out of 5. You know, if any shots were bad, if I pumped it too far past it, you know, it was definitely on me. I remember with the Cobra putter that I reviewed earlier, not their premium ones, they're sort of standard models, you know, I hit one putt and it went for miles. I didn't really understand why. You know, with this, I got exactly what I'd expect out of it. So yeah, distance control, 5 out of 5, exactly what you'd want from this. Don't get me wrong, it might get a little bit used, well, you have to get used to it because of that deep milling, because that soft face, but it is really, really solid, and it is so consistent. So yeah, 5 out of 5, really, really impressed with it. On to feel, 5 out of 5. Lovely, felt lovely off the face, felt soft off the face. You know, sometimes with blades, they can feel a little bit harder because they are, you know, there's not that much, all the mass is pushed quite far forward. You know, with a mallet, it's sort of spread out a little bit, so the soft can definitely, well, sorry, the face can definitely feel a little bit softer. But for me, this just felt amazing. It felt responsive. It was definitely soft enough. Obviously not as soft as the softest mallet I've ever tried. I think, you know, the Lab DF 2.1T, I mean, that thing was just butter. I mean, that just felt so soft, and not up to that softness, but for blade, it was gorgeous. I loved the feel of it, exactly what I wanted. You know, that deep milling phase definitely gave a really nice soft feel off that face. really soft for a blade of this type. So yeah, 5 out of 5. I loved it to bits. Moving on to looks. Looks for me, 5 out of 5. I just think it's gorgeous. I just do. Everything about this putter is beautiful. It is stunning. Like I said, the paint infill, the pink at the back, you know, they've gone putting lab design sort of engraved there, the Anser, you know, the PLD there. It's all been finished in a really, really, really high quality, you know, as you'd expect for a putter to be for this price. You know, even rolls, sometimes I get them. I've had even rolls before and you don't necessarily look premium. This just looks premium. It screams premium. You know, it's so minimalistic. You know, you've only got the Anser on the bottom there. There's no other writing. You know, it sort of reminds me of a Scotty Cameron tour putter, you know, when they don't have that much on it, which I think is really, really cool. I like that look. It's not busy. It just looks clean. And the whole like black shaft, you know, the grip as well feels lovely, you know, and looks great as well, you know, having the same color there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And we all know how popular pin grips are. You know, Tiger used to use it on his Scotty. You know, he used to put a pin grip on his Scotty Cameron. You know, it is really good. It's lovely. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for looks. Gorgeous. Absolutely love it. Moving on to forgiveness, 2.5 out of 5, exactly what I'd expect from a blade, in a sort of more modern blade. You know, you do have this perimeter weighting there, but if you miss-hit it and you miss-hit it badly, you will be punished. It is a blade. Blade is all about precision, you know, it's about hitting that middle of the face, getting the ball to go there. Don't get me wrong, if you off-centered hits, you know, it tends to sort of, I always forget with mallets, because there's one, mallets tend to go, anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole there. But, you know, off-centered hits, you know, you might get to the green. Well, it tends to keep it straight, I'd say, with off-centered hits, but you definitely lose a little bit distance. While with a mallet, you know, if you tend to miss a face, it still goes to distance, but you tend to just miss it left or right. You know, with this, it tends to keep that line, but it won't quite get to the hole. And, you know, I think that's really good, to be fair. It's standard, but, you know, for a blade, that forgiveness, you know, it's there, but it's not amazing, you know. So 2.5 out of 5 for a blade. It's definitely got enough forgiveness for you. If you're looking for ultimate forgiveness, ultimate MOI, so moments of inertia, you know, you're not very good at putting, you don't have much confidence with putting, I would definitely go down the mallet route. If you're, you know, you want that small compact blade, you know, you hit the center of the face all the time, you're relatively good at putting, you know, play a blade, and yeah, 2.5 out of 5 will definitely give you what you need. Or just play a blade because they look cool, to be honest, which I'm thinking about doing myself. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5, even though we did go down a little bit of a rabbit hole during that conversation there. Anyway, now moving on to price. So price for me is 2.5 out of 5. Is exactly where it should be. It's not any cheaper than the others. It's not really any more expensive. I mean, now because this was released last year, you can find it for $379. Which is around, you know, US is around $450, so that's $379 in the UK, sorry, and the US is around $450 for dollars. You know, compared to brand new Scotty Camerons, for example, that's $449, so, or £449 in the UK. So you could say, all right, well, hold on, the ping is a little bit cheaper than the brand new Scotties, but if you're picking up last year's Scotty Cameron, then you can get that for around £319. So it sort of swings around about. It's in the middle for me. It really is. So 2.5 out of 5 is exactly what this price would be. I definitely think if you're going down the premium market and you wanted a premium putter, you won't be disappointed by this. This will perform and look and feel, you know, and give enough chat just like a Scotty Cameron would, in my mind. And from using it, I think I'd probably prefer to stick this in a bag over a Scotty Cameron, to be honest, you know, which I never thought I'd say. I'm a huge Scotty fan. I have quite a few Scotty Cameron putters behind me, but I think I would. I generally think I would. I was that impressed with it. I love the looks of it. I love the feel of it. I think I would put this over like a, you know, Super Select from last year or something like that. I generally would. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5 for that. And then you got your Odyssey AI milled at like £449. And I'm just like, get that. Odyssey AI milled, same grip, same. It just looks like, I just don't know. I'm not going down that road. Not going down that road. Even had the same head cover when I tried one last year than the just a normal AI one. So why am I paying extra £150 for something that's got exactly the same components apart from the head. I know, yes, it is the head which is the main important bit, but make it a little bit different, spice it up a little bit more. You know, it's a premium putter, you know, and that's what Ping does. You know, they make their PLD stuff, you know, they do separate it out from their cheaper putters, which I really, really like. So yeah, really happy with it. 2.5 out of 5 for price. So overall, what is my thoughts? What are my thoughts? I'm really struggling to get my words out today, aren't I? What are my thoughts about the Ping PLD putter? It's because I love it so much. That's why. Because it's so good. So my overall thoughts, as I just said, I love it. I absolutely love it. Do Ping produce premium putters to challenge the likes of Scotty Cameron's? Yes, they do. The PLD is a thing of beauty. All their ranges, it is expertly crafted. It looks gorgeous. It feels gorgeous. Performs gorgeous. Every single little bit of detail about this putter, including the head cover, is fantastic. So overall, do Ping make premium putters? Yes, they do. The PLD range. Is it worth picking them up? Yes, it is, if you want to go down that route. Also, I will add, even though it's a new putter and we don't normally look in the second-hand market, because I would say Ping don't have one when it comes down to their putters, maybe a following as per Scotty Cameron, definitely in the premium market, you can pick these up for around £200 in the UK. No brainer in that case. No brainer. £200, thank you very much, in my bag. There it goes. All right, guys, now I hope you enjoyed this video. Do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly SS golf reviews like this and a lot more videos coming up as well. Do give it a like if you enjoyed it, and do comment down below, you know, do you play a Ping putter? If you do, you know, what are your thoughts about them? You know, are they mainstay in your bag, or have you taken them out for another brand? You know, let me know in the comments. All right, guys, I'll see you soon for the next ACS golf video. See you then. Bye-bye.